I always want my children to remember me by my laughter. My laughter. Because I can be in the room and see something funny. They can be in the kitchen or they can be in the room. Whatever. And the moment I laugh, they run straight and say, like, mommy, what's so funny? You know? My laughter, I think. Well, my childhood was interesting. Last of 8 kids. So I was, in most cases, very alone. But it kind of allowed me to be creative. I had to find things to do, and I love to read. My elder siblings were all in boarding school, so I was home alone most of the time, and I used to talk to myself a lot. But honestly, I think childhood was good. By God's grace, it was good. So when I was growing up, I was just one of those people who wanted to end up using my voice to do something. I didn't have a clear-cut definition of what career path I wanted to take. So honestly, I think I kind of gambled a little bit on my life, I have to say. Only in hindsight now do I see that, oh, it could have gone the other way. But I loved talking, I loved acting, I loved dancing. And I only dreamed of the kind of career or the kind of environment or space where I could explore all these different passions. And I found myself here. Well, my mom is, woo! Doesn't everybody say their mother is a very strong person? Yes, my mother is a really strong person. 8 kids back to back. Well, not really back to back, but you know what I mean. My mother is the type, she's extremely religious, extremely spiritual. She is just one of those people who will say, you know what, I had a sense that you were going through this, and when she calls you, you will really be going through it. My mother is a selfless individual, very, very tough. I mean, my mother is one of those people who didn't allow me to do all the things I wanted to do, you know, growing up. But I have her to thank for my discipline and my sense of work ethic, my confidence for sure. And my passion for God, really. I've got my mother to thank for that. And I think in most cases, what she did was she made sure she instilled everything she could in my siblings and I. And then kind of at a certain age, I remember her basically just saying, okay, now do whatever you want, because she had the trust that we would turn out okay. The most embarrassing moment I had with my mother, when I was preparing for a school play, one day, I remember this so vividly, and I had a series of issues with schoolwork, you know, geography, history. Bottom line is I wasn't doing well in school. So she had been called to school maybe about a month prior, warned about my performance and everything like that. So she was taking a serious look at what I spent my extra time doing. So on this day, I remember being on stage, you know, so the stage was kind of like far down the hill at the school, and we're rehearsing and all my friends were there, and I kind of look up, you know, up the hill, and I see something green, yellow, and blue kind of walking down. The funny thing is, I know I saw my mom, but my brain was kind of telling me that, no, it cannot be her. She came to the hall, screamed at me, and the worst part is she didn't scream in English. So to give it some, you know, bourgeois. No, I mean, she went straight for Fanti. She went straight for the kill. And I had all these friends kind of looking at me like, okay, Anita, I mean, what's wrong with your mom? It was very embarrassing because for days I didn't know how to explain what had happened. Yeah. Be yourself. My mother always says, be yourself. Whenever I go home, oh, mommy, I can't. Be yourself. Oh, mommy, I want this, but I don't know. Be yourself. And being myself has really brought me to where I am. It is a place where there is no complacency. There's a lot of humility. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of self-respect. And most importantly, there is a deep understanding and passion for God. Early mornings, the most fulfilling thing about being a mother, early mornings when your kids kind of crawl into bed and they hold you, and it's the most beautiful thing. But I think even more is when you speak with your children. Remember, you know, mind you, I'm not saying speak to, I'm saying speak with. You speak with them, they really want something, you explain to them why they can't have it, and they kind of take a few seconds to ponder and they say, okay, mommy, we understand you. It's the most fulfilling thing. They know I love them and they love me back. But when you have an understanding with your children, or when I can explain and they can understand and they can show me why or how they understand, it's priceless. Of course, I've had challenges being a mother. I mean, look at my work. You know, I have a lot of things going on. I want to be home a lot of the times, but it's not easy. You know, so the challenge here is we live in a world that is extremely competitive, in a world where things aren't as easily achievable and attainable as perhaps they used to be, or maybe this is how life has always been. So having to balance, you know, and literally sometimes trying to be at two places at the same time. It's impossible, right? But yeah, it's the kind of life you live. You know, you're working, you're doing something, you finish at 4, but a school play starts at 3:15, and it is tough. It is tough, very challenging. Life has only just started, honestly. Because I say my life has only just started because I've just now discovered who I truly am. So I am so excited. The future, by God's grace, will be powerful. But I've just discovered who I am. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to me. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.